What do you say, everybody? Welcome to Wild Pitches. It's your Tennessee Smokies podcast. And it's great to have you guys here as we talk to you, I think, for the first time since the new year. He's Aris, Theo Phanopoulos. I'm Mick Gillespie, at Aris M. Theo and at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. What's up, dude?
Hey, man. Happy New Year. I'm glad to see that you survived the ball drop and, Y2K.
Yeah, I made it. What did you do for New Year's? Anything cool?
The fiance and I just hung out with a couple of friends at a house party. Like, it wasn't a big shindig where, we stayed up all night or anything. Just watched the ball drop and just hung out, So
I was at the Floribama.
Of course you were.
For the I broadcasted their polar plunge, which was crazy because it was really cold, and then all of a sudden it was really hot. And at noon, basically on New Year's Day, that all these people show up and they run out into the ocean, and then they get a free drink if they got wet, and that's kind of how the New Year starts. And like I was like bundled up, I was expecting to freeze, and then I get there and I'm like t-shirt. And then afternoon, like they do it exactly at noon, and then after that it was like cold again. I don't know why it worked out that way, but for for at least 3 hours, it felt like boat weather. Like like you would get your boat down at Orange Beach.
So what goes on in the actual hosting of this polar plunge? Like, what did you do? Like,
you just sit there and watch people in crazy outfits. Like, people dress up in these, like crazy outfits. Like, there were a group of people that were dressed up like Where's Waldo, and then there was a group of people that were dressed up like they were going to a Jimmy Buffett concert. They were all like decked out in like parrot gear, men and women. There was one guy that was dressed up like the abominable snowman from like the Christmas cartoon, and people were just wearing all kind of different stuff. And we talked to some of them, like I basically would just sit behind the desk, and then our friend Steve Powers was like microphone out in front, bringing people over. Hey, where are you from? What are you doing? And talking about that.
Why are you here? Why did you decide to do this today? But then again, from what you're saying, it was like kind of warm, so it might have been refreshing to get a dip in the water.
Well, part of it is supposed to be really cold. Like, that's kind of like it's supposed to be freezing. And years in the past, it has been, but just not this year, at least for that particular moment. I think the water was cold, but the air wasn't. So I did they have this thing called the International Mullet Toss, and I broadcasted that last year. And then now I've done this. So I guess I'm kind of like the Floribama special events play-by-play guy, but I don't really do play-by-play. Just sit there and talk.
And it's very special events. These are unique events.
Mullet toss isn't a haircut, like this is the fish, the mullet. And it's like thousands of people over the course of 3 days come in and throw this thing, and they keep track of how far you throw it and give out, awards, and people dress up for that. So they have like a few. It's a really unique bar. It's kind of one of in the South, I'd say it's the biggest beach bar. I mean, Kenny Chesney, who's from East Tennessee, wrote a song about it. Names it the Floribama in the song. I think it's called the Floribama or something. That came out a few years ago, and then Jimmy Buffett has mentioned that bar over the course of his career when he was alive. And he wrote a song called The Bama Breeze, where he basically said the Bama Breeze really is the Floribama. It just didn't match my song. But when he went on tour, right. he had the backdrop when that song came on was the Floribama, like on his tours, which is really cool. Maybe we should probably try to figure out a way to incorporate them in the Margaritaville night next year. That'd be funny.
I thought you were going to say we should do a special podcast there.
Yeah. Hey, that'd be cool too. So you can get down. Yeah. I mean, we play them next year in Pensacola, which it's actually technically in Pensacola, but it's on Perdido Key, which is the beach. So it's about probably 30 minutes from Pensacola Stadium.
Dude, that's right down the street from it.
Yeah, right. So I mean, like, it would be really easy for you to come down and hang out, and then we kind of, go back and forth, to the games and do this. We should do this. We could definitely do this podcast there. I mean, like, that would be so much fun. So maybe do like a few podcasts from down there and hang out. But it's a great place, and it's kind of historic. It's right on the beach, and it's right on the border, on the line between Florida and Alabama. I mean, like, the state line's right there, but it's actually technically in Florida. So they go by Florida laws. But
Mark
yeah,
we're going to do it. It's today is January 10th, but we are marketing it down. We will be doing a show in the Floribama.
That would be awesome.
One and only.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Yeah, so that was really neat. And other news in the Southern League. Did you see yesterday where the Mississippi Braves sent out a tweet that they're moving to Columbus, Georgia at the end of the year? That's crazy to me. Like, they got to Mississippi from Greenville, South Carolina. And I want to say 2005. And now they're no, I mean, and they got the stadium still in good shape. It's just that it's hot there, and they don't have, they're like the second lowest attendance in AA baseball. And I don't know, the Braves affiliates have just this track record of moving a lot, and maybe it's because, but I mean, look, think about this. They went from Savannah to Greenville to Jackson, and now they're going to Columbus. I mean, and this is all, within the last like 50 years. Like, think about the Smokies. I mean, they left from, Knoxville to where we are right now in Sevierville, Kodak, but then going back to Knoxville, but it's in generally the same area. It's not like the team's like gotten up and leave. Chattanooga's been there forever. Birmingham's been there forever. But I heard rumblings of this, but it was kind of still surprising when it happened. What do you think?
Yeah, same. I've heard something about this. I mean, as early as like a week ago, like, oh yeah, this might happen, whatever it may be. And then all of a sudden you see this post on Facebook and Twitter, and it's just a graphic of text saying, thank you so much for the opportunity. Everything's been great. We're, getting out of Dodge, and we're starting to play baseball in 2025. So the Southern League is going to have 2 new stadiums in just 2 years. So
right.
How about that? And, there was a heaping helping of comments about, how dare you? Why should we do this? Everyone loves you, bada, 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 bada. I mean, but that's just what you're going to get no matter what.
Yeah. I think that it's so tough for that community. You go and you put in a stadium, you put the investment in there. And then all of a sudden, like, the team leaves, not just, that stadium, but the area. And now they don't have professional baseball, and they have a track record in that area of losing their pro baseball teams. Jackson, Mississippi had a team for a long time in the Texas League, and who knows, maybe they eventually get back in the Texas League. Maybe they find another team that needs a place to play. But with all that said, this is definitely something that you hate for the people of that area, but maybe if you're in Columbus, you're excited. And I think, what are they doing? They're like, it's not a new stadium in Columbus, but they're redoing the one that they have with like $50 million or something.
Right. And that's what I'm kind of befuddled about, because could this have been just under wraps for such a long time? I mean, we don't live in Columbus. We don't live in Pearl. We don't really follow this team or baseball in those areas. But how can they just come about it and say, oh yeah, this is going to happen? Like, was the wool really pulled over everybody's eyes for this entire time? Everyone knows that the Smokies are going to be moving downtown to Knoxville since 2017.
Right.
And now it's finally happening. And for them, how is it possible that it's like, oh, this is actually happening, and it's going to happen in a year and a half?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think it means for Smokies? I mean, I got to guess that Columbus, Georgia is closer than Jackson, Mississippi for the Smokies travel. It's got to be, right? I mean, basically you're just going straight. Yeah, I'm betting that as you Google here that the Smokies are probably going to save 2 hours of travel time between Jackson, because with Jackson's like 8 hours away maybe, and then I'm going to guess that this, just off the top of my head, I'm going to guess that this stadium is probably around 5. It's my guess here. So it's up to you to prove me right or prove me wrong.
I'm trying to find out right now what the exact like address of the stadium is going to be, So
that's the first thing the guys are going to want to know, like the travel. But we play at Mississippi twice this year. And we may play, I wonder if I got to look at the schedule now. Got me thinking, but we may be the last team there. Now we're both over here digging through stuff.
So right now, from Smoky Stadium to the Mississippi Brave Stadium, it's 7.5 hours.
Okay, 7.5. All right. We're in Mississippi the 3rd through the 8th. So if they finish on the road, then we're the last game they play.
Wow.
So now I got to look at their schedule, but I bet you that it is. I mean, they wouldn't end up the season in a 12 game homestand, I wouldn't think.
I mean, how could you say that though? They might.
Yeah. I just don't think so. I'm going to look it up right now. We were there in
Columbus, Georgia. The site of this new stadium is 5 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah, so we saved like close to 3 hours. That's what I figured. I mean, and it's an easy way. It's an easy route to get there too. You go Chattanooga and then straight down through Atlanta. So it'll make sense. Montgomery, it'll be close for Montgomery. Not that Jackson was that far. Pensacola will be closer to there. Biloxi would probably be closer to Jackson, and plus it's an in-state team. So that leaves Mississippi with just one minor league affiliate now, and Biloxi has the lowest attendance in AA baseball.
In all of AA baseball, not just the league.
No, just wow. Well, and so they're 30 out of 30, and Mississippi Braves were 29 out of 30. So kind of. But you feel bad for all the people that work there, because just because the team's moving doesn't mean that you're moving with the team. Like they may say, hey, you know what, we're gonna kind of get rid of. Yeah, the Smokies are the last ever home game.
Wow, how about
Sunday, September 8th? Yeah, so we closed Hank Aaron Stadium, and it was kind of sad, like when the Smokies won the game.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they won the last ever game at Hank Aaron Stadium in Mobile, and then that team moved to the Rocket City. They became the Trash Pandas.
Yeah, good old Huntsville now. So.
Right. So yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, man, this is kind of sad, and I hated to see it. And I know it's like it's going to be tough on the people that work there and everything else. So. Now the other question that you have is, do they change with this move the configuration of the league? Like, does this mean now that they're going to, are they going to switch up the divisions?
I don't know. I mean, you said that they're going to get closer to, Montgomery and all. And so, I mean, they're not even in our league, in our division anyway. So
right. So they're
there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think that that's kind of how I feel about this. I don't think that it really affects much at all, other than it's a different, far off place to go. It's just a little less far off than it was before. But Georgia had a team in Columbus before. They were called the Mudcats or the Catfish or something, right? The Columbus Catfish. Then they went to Zebulon and became the
Zephyrs, right?
No. They were the Carolina Mudcats.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
They played
yeah.
at Five County Stadium. Well, that team's still there, but it's moving to Wilson, North Carolina, most likely, which is not far from where it was outside of Raleigh and Zebulon, which is a really small town. And then that franchise, the AA portion of it, went and became the Blue Wahoos. So, it's kind of weird, like where you see like, the movement of different, franchises and all. But as far as the Smokies go, I want to say that we came from somewhere in Alabama, I think Montgomery, back in the 70s, maybe, and then have been there ever since. Maybe not. I don't have my media guide here, but at some point, maybe I'm thinking. Now I'm gonna sit here and be thinking about this all day. Let's see if I can.
I'll tell you this, dude. I searched Columbus, Georgia baseball, and it comes up as the Columbus Chattahoots at Golden Park in Columbus, Georgia.
Really?
Columbus Chattahoots of the Sun Belt Baseball League.
Yeah. And see that's probably what they're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. I mean, I wonder how this is gonna. I wonder how the stadium. I mean, are they going to get their stadium finished in time? Because the one that they're repairing is not that good. I mean, they're going to have to. It needs a lot of work. But Major League Baseball has very high standards. As far as like, you just can't just like it used to be that they would just throw a team into a situation and some teams would have a really good situation and some wouldn't, right? Well, Major League Baseball basically had almost a hostile takeover of minor league baseball. And one of the reasons they did it was because minor league baseball wasn't holding some of the owners accountable for facilities. And so that's not the case anymore.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know that Major League Baseball, I think it's twice a year now during the season, they come down and just take a look at everything from the dimensions of the diamond, the lighting, and of course the facilities for the players, making sure everything is up to code.
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking at this here. I'm trying to figure out when the Smokies came to the Southern League. See if I can figure this out. Because here we go. Timeline. Let's see. It's crazy they have everything on here. It's like, oh yeah. No, we're Knoxville Smokies. So we were there from the beginning. Maybe I'm thinking of the league before that. So yeah, we're OG, as you mentioned.
Hey, the letter to the fans from Mississippi, from their social media, it says, "We are hopeful that this is not the end of professional baseball in Pearl, and our organization will support any efforts to bring a team to Trustmark Park in the future." Fact or fiction? Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, there's other leagues. I mean, they could get into some of the independent leagues, that they have. And when Major League Baseball eliminated a lot of their minor league teams after the hostile takeover, or whatever,
I like how you're calling it that.
Yeah. They came in honestly like one. I was.
You're giving me the bar rescue vibes.
Yeah. I'm John Taffer.
John Taffer, right here.
The honest to goodness truth of it is this: is when it was happening, 2020. I wasn't sure what I thought. Right, I didn't want some of the things that we were doing to change, and some stuff had to change. Like the facilities needed to change. Maybe we needed to update the travel situation, because the buses were just to the point where you couldn't move. You're sitting there like this for 8 hours, sitting in the seat with two people. And so that's what started happening. Like when Major League Baseball took over, they were like, hey, we're going to do 2 buses from now on. But a lot of teams had done that. Then the facilities, if you had a bad facility, they just dumped you. Like Jackson, Tennessee, out. like you're gone. And in Chattanooga, they don't build a new stadium, they're out too. And they're working on that right now. But if something happens, they don't get that done, they'll move that team somewhere else, you know? And what I really like about it is the stuff that you and I get to work on, like the media aspect of it, you know, like our broadcast being on MLB, the MLB app. Like you could sit here and watch our games on the MLB app. Now, selfishly, I'm hoping that the next thing they do is have the option of listening to our call when we're on the road, you know, basically, which they do that in the big leagues. And I think that's something that's in the works. But like when our fans go to Barley's on Tuesday for watch parties, you know, it'd be cool to have our call on there, you know, and not every minor league team has really a committed broadcast, you know, and a committed broadcaster. We're lucky. I mean, we have, you know, it's every year we do our best to try to put a great product on the air. And so that was something that I didn't foresee, you know. And then you have the Bally's app, it's on there, you know, obviously the MILB app, which no one really, I don't think that's a really popular app.
No, but
the MLB app
is great. That Bally's app is fantastic.
Yeah, right. So you can get it on both.
You know, that's something where, you know, in my previous years in baseball working, and nobody goes on the MILB app, you know, for that. But I'll tell you what, last year I had not only people ask me about it, people messaging us on Facebook, Instagram, and all of that, but I had my actual game day staff thought it was so easy just to follow along with the Bally's app. All you got to do is a free account, and then you can watch any minor league baseball game that you want. It's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's great quality too. I mean, I'm in my studio right here. You know, you put the games on on these TVs and watch it just like it's a regular TV program, you know, and honestly for us, I mean, it kind of raises the bar for what we do, knowing that there's more eyes on the work that we do. You know, you're producing, you know, I'm on, you know, talent and doing that part of it. And it honestly, it makes it a lot more exciting knowing that more people are watching.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here, you know, put together the best show possible. We can't control what goes on the field, but we can definitely control what goes on in the whole broadcast. So
yeah, no doubt. Well, cool. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. But hey, the Smokies are going to play the last ever game that the Mississippi Braves will play at Trustmark Park.
Ticket, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
something that we've been doing here, we're getting our season ticket books finalized now. And my assistant, Lindsay Coward, she does a fantastic job. She's the one that designs booklets every year now. And, you know, I told her, like, this is our final season at Smoky Stadium. So you got to make these fantastic. So especially that opening night one and the last game one. So that's something that people are going to want to have, something tangible, especially because when we're moving forward into the new season in 2025 at the new ballpark, you know, are hard tickets, tangible tickets going to be a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not,
like
right?
The University of Tennessee tried to ixnay totally, and they couldn't get rid of them, you know. You know, at first it was, it's just a decorative thing, a commemorative thing. These tickets aren't going to be a real thing, but, you know, not everybody can get in with their phone. So there is something somewhat of a ticketing system that's still alive, but who knows for us moving forward in 2025 if that's going to be a thing or not. So
yeah. One of the biggest disappointments, and you know I'm going to say this, in 2020 was you guys had us doing our Margaritaville dance troupe on the ticket stock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got like a Hawaiian shirt on and a floppy hat, and you know, and everybody's doing the conga line. And man, I wish we never used them because we didn't have a season.
No. So it's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
What could have been? What could have been?
Could have been. I know. I would have loved to have had that blown up and put it in the studio somewhere. I loved it. And that's always one of the best games of the year. You guys are laying out the promotion schedule. I know that's fun. We can't really get into too much detail, but the Grateful Dead jerseys are sick. Lindsay did a great job.
They've been submitted to get approved by Rhino Entertainment. So we'll find out in about a couple months if those get approved or not. Hopefully,
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
not.
They were great. So that's where we are right now on that stuff. Let's talk about your vacation, man. You won. Congratulations to you. You won a trip to the Bahamas, right?
Oh yeah. So crazy stuff. I've never been to the Bahamas before, and I feel like, all of a sudden I haven't gone on vacation in forever, and then I end up going to Greece for 3 weeks at the end of September through October, and now I end up winning a trip to the Bahamas, winning a trip. And when I say I won, it's more like my fiance won a trip to the Bahamas, and I just get to go with her. She went to this bride show a few months back in Knoxville called the Pink Bride Show. And true story, how she describes it is, she walks in and she went in with her mom, just something for them to bond over and look at all the different options that go into a wedding. And the first thing is they walk in through the door and it's like all these people are passing out all these pamphlets and flyers and samples and yada, yada, yada. And she's like, well, we didn't bring a bag. And there it is. First table has, tote bags with stuff. And it's like, oh, well, let's just go over there, get a free tote bag. And then, we'll move from there. And so they go over there and it's like, hey, we're giving away a free trip to, your choice of the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and some other place down there. And, all you gotta do, put your name in here, blah, 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 blah. Okay, sure. Fills it out, puts her name, phone number in there. And then about 3 weeks later or so, she gets a text message saying, hey, congratulations, you've won. And she's like, this can't be real. This has to be some type of a scam, something that's fake or whatever. And then, she Googles what the name of the company that runs this giveaway is. And it seems actually legit. Like people have put their testimonials online and reviews saying, no, this is real. All you have to do is you have to go to this like presentation and then you end up with the free trip to wherever you want to go. And so she's like, okay, fine. She says, yes, I will confirm to coming to this presentation, whatever it is, but you have to bring your fiance. So I'm like, okay, fine, let's do this. And so Emily and I, we get in the car and we go to this hotel, and as we drive in, we pull into the parking lot, we see like 3 or 4 couples exiting the hotel with these like red folders. And it's like, okay, well, obviously, these are other winners or something, and they're going in there and, whatever it may be, and they're going on free trips to the Bahamas, So then we walk in and we go into this like ballroom, and it's us and like 9 other couples. And it's this dude up in the front, and he has this Southern twang accent, like, y'all, thank you so much for coming out here today. I appreciate y'all. I'm not trying to take up too much of your time, but I'm going to tell you about the best cookware set you've ever seen. And sorry for my horrible Southern accent. I mean, you call that. I think I just threw y'all in there. But he then proceeded to show us all these different pots and pans and forks and knives and woks and platters and all this other junk. Well, I should be calling it junk because he took a lot of pride in all of it. And it seemed like it was great, great stuff. But the entire time I'm telling Emily, my fiance, I'm like, we're not buying any of this. We're not going to fall trap to any of this.
Fall trap.
At the beginning of it, the dude is just like, listen,
you don't need any pots and pans.
You don't need to buy any of this stuff. As long as you stay here through the entire presentation, we'll give you this free trip, And no, I don't need any pots and pans, dude. Like, I don't know why you would. And the thing is, after all the presentation of the pots and the pans, and they cooked us dinner and all, and he slapped the pots and pans on the table to make noise. He did like every trick in the book that of a great salesman. He tried to be your friend, and he tried to, put no pressure on you, and he made noises and all this stuff. Guy was a great salesman. Highly recommend him to sell your next pot and pans to you. But I'm like, we're not going out of here with any pots and pans. We're leaving here with a trip to the Bahamas, damn it. So what happened was at the end of it, he's like, all right, if you're interested in any of the products that we talked about here today, my wife is over here in the corner, and she will be taking cards payments. And if anyone is not interested, feel free to head to the lobby and I can talk to you then. And so we got up and we went straight to the lobby. Dude comes over and he's like, hey guys, you interested in any of the products that we showed you today? No, thank you. But I did compliment him. I was like, dude, you're a great salesman, 10 out of 10. And he's like, okay, well, thanks for stopping by. Here, take a picture of this certificate code. And this is a link that you go on. And there you have it. So, like, he didn't give us any paperwork or anything. He just said, take a picture of this stuff. And not only did we, stay there and get the trip to the Bahamas, but we got free engraved champagne flutes, and we also got like a gift card. So it's like, all right, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. And so then we went back to the car, and we were just like talking about things, and then we see the other couples that were in this like presentation with us exiting the hotel with these red folders, and it's like, okay, now it all clicks. If you leave the presentation with a red folder, that means you bought something, because we didn't leave with anything. So that means that these people spent at least $1,100 on pots and pans from a complete stranger they talked to for an hour. And not only did they not have to buy the stuff, but they get the trip to the Bahamas anyway. So it's like, did they get suckered into feeling bad and then spending at least $1,100 on products to go to the Bahamas? Because good for me, pat on my back that I didn't feel like I was pressured into doing anything. And, in 2 weeks, I'll be going to the Bahamas, and I'll be sure to take a photo for you, Nick.
That'll be awesome. I've been to the Bahamas a few times and like it. And it's a fun place. The people are nice. It's not that far away. That's the other part of it, too. I went on a cruise there one time and then flew in there one time. So when are you going again? When's the dates?
January 22nd. So
perfect. Yeah. So
2 weeks, going for 5 days, 4 nights, missing a whole week of work. Darn it.
Yeah, there you go.
Monday through Friday. And
well, congratulations. Do you have to go look at any more of those? When you're down there, do they get you to do any more of those like seminars for pans and stuff?
I hope not. I don't think so, dude. I think we made out like bandits, and now we get to go down there and just enjoy ourselves. So
yeah,
I'm gonna be working on this tan a bit. It's gone. My glow from Greece is gone now, so got to work that back up. So
that'll be fun. I remember having a drink out of a coconut down there, right on the beach. Yeah, well, that'll be fun. That'll be a good trip, and congratulations. The other big thing going on right now is the NFL playoffs. Your Eagles have absolutely fallen off a cliff. I don't understand that. They were at one point, what were they, like 10-1 or something?
They were 10-1. Think about this. Let me paint the picture for you. Thanksgiving just happens. The Eagles are coming off of a win against the Cowboys at Kansas City on Monday night. And then they lead an overtime comeback against the Buffalo Bills. They're the number 1 team in the NFL, 10-1, top seed in the NFC. And since then, the script has flipped. And it's not as if one of the players on the team gets hurt and now the team sucks. It's gotten from bad to worse to dumpster fire to rock bottom. If you follow the NFL, this is the most absurd thing that could have happened. I don't get it, man. Yes, the Eagles were great last year. This team is not as good as they were last year when they were 10-1, but they were finding ways to win. And now they can't do anything. They get blown out by the 49ers. They get blown out by the Cowboys. They almost lose to the Giants at home on Christmas Eve or Christmas evening. And then they lose to the 3-12 Cowboys, and then they get pretty much embarrassed by the Giants against the Giants on New Year's Day in New Jersey. They were down 24-0. They pulled the starting quarterback. It's unbelievable. It's like, how bad has this team become? And the coaching is just so bad here. Like, there's definitely a disconnect. I mean, the Eagles are in the playoffs, woohoo, but nobody expects anything. Everybody, yeah, right. and the poor people that run the Eagles social media accounts, just trying to, bring cheer and joy and content out there. No matter what it is, everyone's commenting on there saying, fire this coach, get rid of this player, so on and so forth. Like, it doesn't matter what the content is about. No one's excited for this playoff game. No one, because they have not done what they could have done all year last year. They have not played one game in a dominant fashion, and they've lost all these games recently. At this point, it's like they don't have a chance. They have no chance. If the Eagles turn around and they absolutely dismantle the Buccaneers, which they surely should, they're going to get destroyed the next week by whoever they end up playing.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. It would be a shame because they were kind of they lost the Super Bowl last year, and they were kind of that team that everybody thought was going to take care of some unfinished business. But, now all of a sudden, like they're even on the road in the first round.
They're on the road in the first round. And at this point, they're not going to end up, hosting a playoff game unless the Packers end up knocking out the Cowboys, which I don't know if that's going to happen. It could happen. The Packers have had, the Cowboys numbers in recent years. And then the Rams are on the road at Detroit. So that's also a possibility that maybe the Rams end up beating them. But no matter what, the Eagles are going to have to end up playing like the 49ers or the Cowboys, somebody that's a big bad team like that, and they're just not. They don't have that spunk that they did last year.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Ravens fan. They're the number 1 seed this year, but I don't know. I'm just not confident that they'll win the Super Bowl.
Well, why
it just
not?
Feels like
not this year. Then when?
Well, they pop up and win them occasionally, which has been pretty fun, but. I don't know. I mean, to me, I think it's going to be like the Bills are going to come out of nowhere and win, or, again, Patrick Mahomes, even though they've struggled all year, they'll figure it out. The Rams won a couple of years ago. They're healthy and they're starting to play pretty good football. The AFC to me is a lot tougher to get through than the NFC. There's just so many good teams. I feel like the NFC, you got the 49ers, but I saw the Ravens go to San Francisco and just destroy them a few weeks ago. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it's Dallas's year to get to the Super Bowl. They haven't been there in forever.
No.
But they always I'm just not a believer in Dak. It's like when he just in the big games, he just finds a way to lose. And, I don't know. I mean, the Eagles could rise up. That league is so wide open, but watch it. That's probably going to be the 49ers, though. I mean, I would think that they've been so close.
And the 49ers have made the Super Bowl recently. They made it with 2 different quarterbacks recently.
Yeah, right.
Can't get over that hump. And I agree with you on that. I think the AFC has these big, bad teams. And yes, the Chiefs haven't been playing, that Chiefs football that they did last year. Same thing as the Eagles and the Chiefs. They're just kind of a shell of who they used to be, but you'd never know when the playoffs happens and that switch, and Patrick Mahomes might go back to being the MVP guy that everyone knows. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of – I said it a few weeks ago that I feel like the Ravens, this is their year to make it to the Super Bowl and win it. And you know what? Man, with the Chiefs struggling and the Dolphins, because the Dolphins can't beat a team that actually is good, and the Bills are on the road now for these games. Oh no, they're not. They have home field advantage, but the Ravens have home field advantage over the Bills. I mean, it's like everything's kind of lining up for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And if the Ravens don't make the Super Bowl this year, people are going to get real upset about Lamar Jackson and the decisions that they made about paying the guy.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep. That's it, man. We'll see what happens. I'm going to predict Super Bowl. Let's see here. Maybe I should just go with the Ravens. Go with my heart. Ravens 49ers rematch from the Harbaugh Bowl.
Wow. Okay. But then the same result.
Yeah, same. Well, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, right. You don't seem very confident in that, though. I
just think that the NFL would I just think in the NFL you just never know. I mean, but players like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are going to be their best in these games. Yeah.
Well, okay, for the purpose of variety then, because, I was going to say that the Ravens were going to be the 49ers in the Super Bowl. But, for the purpose of long shots. I hope this happens and everything. It would be just fantastic if the Cleveland Browns somehow ended up into the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco winning against Houston, and then he goes into Baltimore and beats them. Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
So long shot, never going to happen. But my hope is that the Cleveland Browns go on the road, win all these games, make it to the Super Bowl, and then they beat the 49ers. So
Right. Yeah. So there you go. No chance for the Eagles, huh?
No. Not even in my long shot chances. I don't think that's going to happen. And you know what? Maybe I'm using reverse psychology here. So
yeah, no doubt. Well,
maybe I'll be on cloud 9 after the Eagles win against the Buccaneers this upcoming weekend, or maybe I just say I told you so when they end up losing to the Buccaneers.
Yeah. The other football league that everyone wants to know about is the Smokies Fantasy Football League, which you're the commissioner of. I won last year. It was glorious. It was fantastic. But I traded some picks along the way, and it certainly cost me in my bid to repeat. I felt like this was a year where it was wide open. I did not see. I think I said it on here. I might have said it on here in the past. I did not see a dominant force like my team was last year. But there were some other really good teams last year. It was wide open. And Aris, it really was wide open. Give us a recap of the postseason.
So, quick recap of everything that took place. 6 teams make the playoffs. Top 2 seeds get a bye week. That would be home to our vice president, Jeremy Bowler, and Tennessee Smokies general manager, Tim Volk. So, they had a bye week in the first rounds. So, the 5 seed, myself, and the 6 seed, Caleb Mills, who was a food and beverage manager here, ended up knocking out our director of food and beverage and our operations assistant general manager. So the lower seeds moved on. Caleb, this guy who traded away half of his players before the trade deadline, made it into the playoffs, knocked out the 3 seed, then knocked out the number 1 seed, Jeremy. And Caleb did this with the running backs of Kyron Williams and Chuba Hubbard.
Wow.
And a rotation of quarterbacks because he traded away Patrick Mahomes. I ended up knocking out the number 2 seed, Tim Volk. Tim was riding and dying with Dak and CD, a great combination, but a 1 week where they end up just being very average cost them. And me having T. Higgins, a guy who I only started once the entire season, I started him in in all rounds of the playoffs, knocked him out. And then so it was a 5-6 championship, and the 6 ended up winning. So the lower seed won every single playoff game. And that's just how it works sometimes, man. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is get in and you can win.
Yeah. And so it felt like it was going to be that kind of year. It felt like that was going to be that kind of year. I sold early, but I just didn't have enough. I didn't have the horses to even get into the 6. You have to make a decision as an owner, like, when do you fish or cut bait, right? And I cut bait, but I knew that it was going to be one of those years. I made a trade at the deadline last year and gave up some of my picks that I didn't need to make, but it was like almost like I knew my team was so good that I just wanted padding, and I also wanted to keep those players away from some other people in the league, or they could have made a trade and gotten those same guys, but I mean, and you never know. And I didn't even use them, but it didn't matter. I mean, I had them if I needed them, So congratulations. That's how the Smokies Fantasy Football League, another first-time winner.
Another first-time winner. Caleb Mills. We talked about him before. That guy is a beast at dodgeball, and he ends up winning the Fantasy Football League this year. And then I don't even know if you know this one.
Yeah, breaking news.
Just a few days ago, he accepted the job as the new general manager of the Kingsport Axemen.
Yeah, so that's great.
He's already moved on to bigger and greater things with his trophy. So he takes the trophy out of Kodak and brings it to Kingsport with him.
Out of my office. It was in my office. Yeah, it was in my office. All right, Aris, let's get back together and do it next week. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the Wild Pitches podcast and obviously Smokies digital media. And for Aris, I'm Mick. Thanks. Go Smokies.